So you do a 10 pull on the current weapon banner, and while you don't get a 5-star, you do get 4-star Favonius Lance, henceforth known as Fav Lance. I'm not going to say Favonius every single time. We'll see if I actually hold up to that. So in this video, we're going to look at this weapon, its stats, its passive, and who it might be good for. So energy recharge is its stat, which is very, very good for anybody where you want to be using their burst a lot. Its passive, crits have a 70% chance to generate a small amount of elemental particles. This is at R2, at R1 it's 60%, which will regenerate 6 energy for the character. Can only happen every 10.5 seconds. That goes down the higher refinement that you get it. So this is going to be good for anybody that is either a burst support character or a character that you might be running emblem on. I actually do not use this weapon on Chevy. Chevy was just the character in my party that I had that was using a polearm, so I just threw it on her real quick for the examples. So we're going to take Chevy into a domain and try to trigger the passive so that way you can see the extra energy that it is generating. Okay, so we're going to start this domain. We're going to go to this enemy and we're going to get it fairly quickly. Do you see how we had several energy particles come up? That is triggering the passive. So because the passive does rely on crits, you do need to have a little bit of a crit value or crit rate on the character that is equipping it so that way you can trigger that passive reliably. And as we've been running around hitting it, anytime that you see multiple energy particles come up from one enemy, that is the triggering of the passive. If we just get one particle, that is not the triggering. If we get multiple, when we don't kill an enemy, then that is going to be triggering this passive. I think that it should have triggered a couple of times while I've stood here rambling on. Okay, so now that we've talked about the passive of this weapon, let's talk about some characters that can use it and that it can be good for. Okay, so Xiangling is a character that could use this weapon, especially if you have her built with Emblem, then the energy recharge is going to help her in multiple ways. She should be able to trigger the passive with like Guoba. I think if you have a character whose burst or skill is off field, it can still trigger the passive. So this can be good for Xiangling, although the catch is better. If you are using Damage Rosaria with 4-piece emblem, then this weapon can be good on her as well. You do really, really need to get crit rate high with Rosaria, especially because of her passive, but it's more of a support passive, but she can make use of this weapon. You can use it on a character like Toma, especially if you are using his burst to apply pyro a lot. It can be good. However, they are typically better options than Favonius Lance. But Favonius Lance is a lance that is going to be good on a lot of characters. So I'm going to say it's good, but not the best on a lot of these. I don't necessarily recommend it on a character like Candace, except if you have her C6 and you are really using her burst for all that hydro that C6 allows her to do. Now it can be good on Yao Yao, especially if you are using her burst a lot, especially for like healing Yao Yao. Her burst does have a high energy cost of 80, so this can be very, very good to reliably use her burst. So this is going to be a very, very good lance for like Mika. I know I keep saying lance instead of polearm. I don't know where that came from. Oh, well, because it's called a Favonius Lance. Anyway, this is going to be really, really good for a character like Mika, where his burst is healing and his healing only comes from his burst. Now, when it comes to riding Shogun, just get the catch. Just freaking get the catch. Just do the fishing. It's not that bad. I promise I R5'd mine. If I R5'd mine, you can R1 yours. Don't give her Favonius. Just give her the catch. So Yunjin is going to be a character that can very much use this weapon. I believe this is actually her best or one of her best 4-stars. So having this on a character like Yunjin is going to be very, very good. So a character like Zhao, which I'm only saying this because of Doggy, I wouldn't put it on Zhao. Just get something with crit rate or crit damage or something else. Don't put it on Zhao. If you have to, you have to. But other than that, don't put it on Zhao. So a character like Zhongli is going to very much appreciate the Black Tassel, not Favonius. Again, you can use it on him. You'll be able to use his burst more often. But really, 3-star Black Tassel is going to be his best free-to-play option because of how much HP it gives. And finally, we have Shenhe. Now, this is one of, if not, Shenhe's best 4-star weapons. So this would be very, very good on Shenhe. If you do not have her signature or a better polearm, this is going to be phenomenal on Shenhe. That is going to be it for this video. If you do have any questions, you be sure to leave in the comments. Myself or somebody else will be sure to answer it, and I will see you in the next one.